If you clicked on this video, odds are your team are not using Copilot, and yet you've sent an email telling them, hey, you should use Copilot, and nobody's using it. They prefer Claude, they prefer ChatGPT, and your adoption is just straight crap. Okay, let's be real. So in this video, I will teach you a framework that I taught to more than 100 organizations, more than 100,000 people, busy professionals just like your team. And this framework, it works. Okay, it will be a lengthy but very thorough video, and after this video, I promise your Copilot adoption will go up. And if you feel lost right now and you don't know where to start, I will show you step by step with these simple habits that will skyrocket your adoption. Okay, so I am David Fortin. I am a Microsoft MVP. I taught hundreds of busy pros, hundreds of thousands, I should say, of busy pros on this topic. And let's get going with this framework. So first, we start with the consider, okay? First, to get your team to use Copilot, they need to consider it, okay? And they need to get the habits to use the tool. Some people just don't even think about it, okay? So let's get going. It will be very hands-on, very technical. So my first tip, and don't leave the video just yet, it's to do weekly meetings, okay? And you share your knowledge. So your team must understand what the tool can do and its values so they can consider it, okay? And you need to lead by example. You are a business leader, you are a team manager if you clicked on this video, but Dave, what do you actually show them in these weekly meetings? Okay, so I will teach you just that. So let's see, maybe it's this very simple example. I still see people taking meeting notes, right? But with the paid version of Copilot in Teams, and I forgot to mention, this video will cover a lot of the use cases, even with the free version, okay? Don't worry, but we start with a very powerful use cases right here. I still have friends that take meeting notes manually, okay? So let me show you what Copilot in Teams can do. You can see here when you record a meeting, it just does this right here. It takes the notes for you. I still have friends taking notes manually. I still have busy pros taking notes. It takes them 2 hours to take notes after a meeting. And you can see Copilot just does that automatically. And lots of people don't even know that. But what they don't know is that when you go to OneNote, you can click on meeting details and it will transfer your notes into OneNote, okay? Click on the calendar and you select the previous meeting that's linked to your Outlook. And there you go. You get your meeting notes directly into OneNote. How cool is that? And tons of people don't even know that. Okay, so that's one thing you can share on your weekly meeting. Recently, that's a real use case that I used. Okay, I opened Copilot in Word. I have the paid version, Copilot in Word, and I cross-reference a contract. That's a contract that you see on the left right here, and on the right, that's the Copilot pane. And I have a few meetings recorded in Teams with this client, and I just asked Copilot, hey, can you cross-reference what we said in the previous meeting transcript with client name? Does he respect what he said? And Copilot just went in, cross-reference, okay? So lots of people don't even know that they can do that with Copilot, and that's the big strength versus Claude or ChatGPT. You know, Copilot is really integrated, and you have this enterprise data protection that applies as well, okay? One thing that you can do with the free version, and lots of people don't know that you can do that with the free version, we're in Excel right here. And when you turn on the allow editing mode right here, I have some data, some sales data right here. And look at that. I say, hey, build me a sales dashboard from this data, show the top 5 salespeople, you know, and it's only one example. You can do multiple formulas, you can clean your data, you can do a lot with Copilot in Excel with the free version of Copilot, depending on the size of your organization. But most organizations below 2,000 users, they can do just that. I'll speed up the video and you can see how fast Copilot builds a dashboard, right? So that's a lot of education we need to do. That's stuff that you can show during your weekly meetings, and that's just Excel right here. But in PowerPoint and Word, it's the same thing. Okay, so people are just not aware that Copilot can do that. They don't click around, they don't know. So that's why I tell people my craft framework. Oh, I just said the whole framework. The C of my framework is actually to consider. So that's what I mean by consider. So the weekly meetings, they don't have to be complex. Make sure you have one different person present each week. So it'll force your team to put their hands into Copilot, right? And come up with a use case by the end of the week. And it will spark up ideas and favorize like discussion between team members. And you can do monthly if you want, okay, if you don't have room for weekly, but this should only be like 15 minutes or just a quick win share in 5 minutes. But if you do monthly instead of weekly, of course, it will slow down your adoption, okay? I want to introduce my segment Behind the Curtain. So I have a craft hack right here, and it's super simple. Just make sure people they make M365 Copilot.com their landing page when they open Edge or Chrome. You see here, I click on the little house at the top and it brings me directly into Copilot. Okay, and by the way, if you enjoyed the tips so far, if this video has already brought you value, please hit the like button because it will help other organizations that struggle with AI adoption to see this video. Okay, that's what the algorithm does. So please click the like button. It's free, takes you 1 second, and it helps me and a lot of people as well for absolutely free. Okay, all right, let's get into the second part of my framework, the recognize. Okay, so people need to understand how Copilot really works, and I'll show you why most prompts fail and the fix. Okay, so I was at the restaurant not long ago and we were eating pizza, my girlfriend and I. It's a restaurant that I love. That's where we actually almost met. Okay, and I heard someone, I was ear saying, I'm not sure how we say that, I was earring across the table, and I heard someone say, Copilot sucks, Claude is so much better. Okay, and while I understand why this person said, there are two things that I wanted to tell this person. The first thing was, maybe he doesn't know that Claude is actually living into Copilot, right? So what you see right here is me into PowerPoint, by instance, and when you click on the top right arrow, you can pick the model. Okay, and for my folks in Europe, this might not has been out yet, but you have GPT 5.6, which is actually accurate, actually very good, but you can pick the Claude model right here, right? So that's not an excuse anymore saying, hey, Claude is better. Okay, that's not true. The models are releasing at the same time. Okay, so this is some education you need to send to your team, and lots of people, I see them take the auto model, which is not the case. Okay, so your team needs to understand how a generative AI works. So I said I wanted to say two things to this guy. First was like, hey bro, hey man, there's Claude model inside Copilot now, right? And the second thing is, I want your team to understand that Copilot works as a little Albert Einstein with different dictionaries, which we call LLM, and it's based on probabilities. It's a machine that forecasts the next word, and it's something that I teach very thorough in my course, Copilot Essentials from AI Beginner to Proficient, which I'll talk about later. But people need to be specific and they need to understand how to prompt. Okay, they need to understand how to prompt, and I'll skip a few slides right here. That's what most people do right here. Okay, your team, that's how they prompt into Copilot, and they don't even pick the think deeper model right here. So they say compare these two PDFs, and they attach a PDF. But the real framework, and if you're not new to this channel, you have heard me say that a lot of time, is that Copilot can't read your mind, right? You need to add some context, and the framework, let me skip ahead real quick, is the goal context expectation source framework. Okay, this framework, if your team learns it, their results will be much better. And that's one thing, people need to recognize the value of Copilot. But if they go in, they prompt with a very bad prompt, like compare these two PDFs, they will receive bad results and they won't use it anymore because they were not taught how to use Copilot. Okay, and I made a checklist. So this cheat sheet right here is included in the checklist. The checklist covers the 5 key points that we are going to see into this video, and you can download. It's free. Okay, it's absolutely free. The link is in the description down below. All right, so now the third part of my framework is to adjust Copilot. So your team needs to adjust Copilot, need to personalize Copilot, and there is, in the 3 dots at the top right, there is a setting that is called personalization. Okay, and there is one thing that is called custom instructions. I'll focus on that, and I'll show you one example. Okay, in my custom instructions right here, I ask Copilot that when I ask you to write an email or to reply back to an email, can you come up with 2 versions, right? One that is more professional and one that is more concise. Okay, so these custom instructions are the way to personalize Copilot, and I think it's a really underused or underrated feature. And you can see here, right here, without custom instructions, I ask Copilot, hey, can you answer the latest email from this person? Tell her I can't make to her speaking opportunity. And I'm using the old design right here, but it's the same thing. Make sure you have work IQ turned on. Custom instructions are the free version of Copilot, by the way. But if you want Copilot to have a look at your whole 365 environment, you need the paid version. Okay, so with the custom instructions on the right, you see my custom instructions, they work. I have 2 versions. Okay, so that's a quick win. Tell your team they can set up their custom instructions. It's a very huge win. So make sure they adjust their Copilot. Okay, then file for Copilot. I think that's a very important, and you can do agents with the free version of Copilot. Okay, so I want your team to file for Copilot by unlocking agents, and that's a very complex word. Lots of people think they need to code to unlock agents. That's not the case. You can even do agents with the free version of Copilot. So let me show you one thing you can do with the paid version. But first, I want you to understand this concept right here, okay? Don't try to automate everything on day one. And I want you to start with something that's already built. So I like to introduce the concept of crawl, walk, run. So first, if your team are, they want to do repetitive things in Copilot, tell them to use a pre-built agent. That's what I call the crawl. And then we can walk, okay? Then before showing them how to build their first agent, we can show them to use a pre-built agent. And then we have run, right? With Copilot Cowork maybe, or Copilot Studio. I'll get back into Cowork into just a few minutes. Okay, so one thing I want to show you is the pre-built agent right here, the researcher agent. So when you click on the agents on the left, you can go to, in my case, your agent, because that's one I use pretty often. And then at the bottom, you have the agents built by Microsoft, the researcher agent. And I want to show you what it can do, okay? Because that's a quick win for your team if they have the paid license of Copilot. If they have the free license, show them how they can build an agent with the agent builder that does just fine for the first agent. They will save a lot of time. They will see value quickly, okay? And you can also show that in the weekly meetings, okay? All right, so let me get into the researcher agent, right? So I'm using the old design there. It's almost the same. It's just the agent will be on the left. The logo will be different. But you can click on the researcher agent built by Microsoft, okay? And then the most important part is that you click on the pre-built prompt at the bottom, right? I have created a daily briefing here. In this case, we're going to plan our week. So I click here and I will switch everything in the pre-built prompt to this week instead of today, okay? I will speed up the video. And one thing that's very important, pick the source, okay? Make sure you pick the right sources, else Copilot will be a little bit confused. So the more context you give it, that is useless, the more risk of hallucinations, okay? And then that's a researcher agent. You will see it will help me plan my whole week. It will go read my Outlook calendar, go read my Teams meetings messages, go read everything in my 365 environment, and it will tell me, hey Dave, here's what you do on Monday, right? Key updates since last week. Hey Dave, here is your agenda for this week, okay? So very huge use case right here with the researcher agent that you can show your team right now. Yes, you need a paid license, okay? So a few things I showed was the paid license today, but with the free license, you can just show them how to create an agent, okay? Super useful. So let's do a quick recap. I know that was fast. You have the checklist you can download as well, that will go through everything we saw in this video. But first, host weekly meetings to get your team to consider Copilot, okay? I tell you, this will help a lot. And make sure you set Copilot as a browser homepage. And if your IT is blocking it, then tell them to unblock that you can change the homepage or add it as another tab that opens as soon as you open your browser, right? Because lots of people don't have the reflex to use it. Share the GCES framework, goal, context, expectation, source, prompting framework to recognize Copilot value, and also make sure your team are aware that they can pick the model. If your team enabled Opus 4.8 from Claude, make sure they enable that, right? Make sure your team adjusts Copilot with custom instructions. It will help lower the barrier to prompting, right? And also make your team fall for Copilot agents, okay? And agents will transform the way you work. And if you're not there in your organization just yet, it's all good. I have a whole module in my online course that shows you step-by-step how to build an agent, how to make sure your team builds the right agent that does great results and stuff like that, right? And also, you should be creating the first agent for departments from your team, okay? You should not send them like, hey, build your first agent and put this in their performance review, like, hey, you have 10 agents to build this year, right? To get your promotion or whatever. So that's your job, that's on you, okay? And to train your team as well, okay? So the T, speaking of train, okay? The T, the last part of this video is to train your team, okay? Lots of people, they just send an email saying, hey, use Copilot, and they don't use it themselves, okay? That's a big mistake. We are undergoing a transformation, okay? It's a big revolution right now. It's a big era, I'm not sure how to say that. So you need to roll out Copilot to your team, and I have a solution for you, okay? And my biggest regret, look at that. I like this. I'm not sure where it come from, okay? I found this on the internet. I just changed a few things, but the professional athletes, the time that they perform, it's the red bar right here, okay? And the green is the time that they train. And in corporate professionals world, that's actually this, right? I've been in the corporate world for 10 years, guys. I know exactly what I'm saying. We don't have time to train. And sometimes the catch-22, because the more you train, the faster you will do your things, your work and stuff. And you know, it's my biggest regret, working 40 hours a week in Excel every single week for 10 years without following a proper Excel training, okay? And spoiler alert, Copilot will be here for the next 25 years at least. Let me repeat that. Spoiler alert, Copilot will be here for the next 25 years at least. You need to offer training to your team, okay? And trust me, my friends, with what's coming and what I see coming up, no more Outlook or Teams. You won't even go into Outlook or Teams anymore. It will be everything in Copilot. Copilot will be the hub. So your team needs to know how to use it properly, how to prompt properly, and how to get the best results out of it, right? It's going to skyrocket the productivity so much, okay? And if you haven't seen, there is Cowork that is recently released, and I run a workflow in my Cowork, and it's like the crawl, walk, run. We are in the run right here, and before your team needs to run, they need to learn how to crawl, right? So I say, every morning, scan my unread emails from my inbox and tell me what are my top 3 priorities, and draft an email reply for each of these emails, right? And Cowork is running this workflow every morning, and it's putting the drafts directly into my Outlook. Okay, that's super useful. And yes, Cowork is usage-based billing, etc., etc. So that's why, you know, your team needs to understand how to use Copilot, because the better they will use Cowork, the less credits they will take, the less money it will cost. Okay, so that's very useful. If you haven't seen Cowork, I have some videos about it on my YouTube channel, and it's absolutely a very, very amazing tool. Okay, so that's the run about the agents, right? Crawl, walk, run. Okay, so I have exactly something for you. So Copilot evolves so fast, everyone's overwhelmed, including your team. And you might think the following, okay, with Cowork that just got here, will the team be ready to embrace it? Copilot usage is on our team's performance review. How do I actually coach my team? You showed us the GCS today, but how do we actually teach a prompting framework to a whole team so they understand the value, okay? And as I showed you at the beginning, Copilot is in Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, and Word. How do I train my team on all of them and fast without taking 6 months and staying current, okay? And I think that's the hardest part right now with all this AI thing. It's crazy. And how do we actually create agents for our team? You might be like, oh, agents, but yourself, you don't even have time to document yourself and follow what's going on to the agent world. And how do we actually craft the right instructions for an agent, right? I see this all the time, right? My team is using the wrong version of Copilot, where to use the Copilot personal one. I went to a big insurance company here in Quebec, and the VP of IT, he was putting confidential data into the wrong Copilot, right? So that's where I come into play. It's like, hey, you need the green shell at the top right? So lots of people don't even know that. And I know you need a progressive rollout plan, maybe a hybrid plan, a on-demand course with some live training session, and you're not sure where to start, and you're worried that you fall behind. And I tell you, your team, even if they have no training, they will go use the ChatGPT unsecure version. They will go use Claude, put your data at risk. They need a proper training, okay? And honestly, maybe you're watching this video, it's been 6 months out, it's probably already outdated, okay? I tell you, it's crazy. It's evolving so fast. How do you keep training the current, right? And I hear a lot of people, like, they internally get asked, hey, you should do the training, you should host this video on a SharePoint, you should host this video on a OneDrive. The video is not current. I know you have something else to do. You're not a certified trainer. I just think about the poor new hires that will follow this training that is outdated, that doesn't have a structure, that is not really built a right curriculum that follows a specific order for them to learn the tool properly, because they will use it in the next 25 years. So that's why I have a solution for you. And I want to talk about my corporate offer about Copilot Essentials. It's my course that was followed by more than 3,000 busy professionals, more than 100 organizations. I'm so proud. Lots of organizations trust me with this course, deploy it into their organizations, and your team will go through all the modules step by step with some quizzes, some exercises, and they will actually learn the tool, okay? Starting with the foundations, learning that Copilot is like a little Albert Einstein, learning how to prompt properly with like 8 different use cases. I show them step by step. They have some PDF that they can print and follow. And also there's a module about the game changer features. Lots of my competitors don't talk about it. I'm not sure why, but this is a killer module right here. And then I walk you through everything that Copilot can do in the 365 apps. Should I say everything? Not everything, only the things that matters, because this course is only 3.5 hours. Let's say 4 if you take the exercises, and it's chopped into bite-sized lessons. Okay, so you don't have to go through 4 hours straight up, and you can, go at your own pace, rewatch some videos, and I update it all the time. It's always live, it's always updated. And my favorite module that I just recently refreshed, it's brand new, I just refilmed everything out of it, is the Copilot agents. It shows you step by step how to build an agent. And I got hundreds of organizations that deploy this course to their teams right now, and you can find more information at teamtraining.learncopilot.ai. So that's what I have for you. It's not like a sales or whatever. It's just a product that I think will help a lot to your Copilot adoption, and it's an amazing product. And feel free, if you have any question, all the info is down below in the description. I hope this video was useful, and I really think that if you follow the craft framework, especially the training part, your team needs training. They are overwhelmed in this, just like you are. They need some help. They need some support from their organization. They need somewhere they can go to, a resource like that, right? They need a resource, they need an on-demand course, maybe a hybrid training. Enough talking. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it. Else, I will put some videos on the screen right here that will help you. And if you want this course, teamtraining.learncopilot.ai, feel free to book a call with me. There's a button. There's also an orange button on the website. You will find more info there. I hope that was useful, and I will catch you in another video. Cheers.